Hi, this is Eva Montalvo. This is another couch potato yoga video. This one's for low back and hips, and we're going to actually be on the couch today, showing you some stretches you can do either from the couch, on your bed, or on your back on the mat. If you're used to being down on the ground, that's actually a really good place to do this, but the couch will be a good spot too. So we'll just notice the difference. So first of all, I want to talk about the back and why that might be an issue for people. It's actually one of the most common complaints I get from people in general and from yoga students in particular. One of the reasons or the factors involved in the low back is whether the hips are doing their job, the muscles that are attached to the low back area or really closely related, and then whether the core muscles are doing their job. And if not, then the low back's usually getting a lot of it. Another thing that happens is that I notice that when I'm sitting on the couch, I will have my low back kind of tucked under. This is just a side view. And although I might think I'm comfortable, once I get up, this area really is not very happy. So this is a lot of pressure being there. So I've noticed that even if I just sit back, bring a pillow behind me, and scoot as far back as I can, it really makes a difference. Even if I don't do that all day, it really does help. And of course, being a yogi, sometimes I do a lot of cross-leg sitting. But if that's not for you, at least try to sit up a little bit during the day. For this particular session, we're going to use a strap or a long scarf if you have one, and a pillow that's not too squishy, or a block if you have that. So as always, listen to your body, notice what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Feel free to skip things that don't work, and also just keep breathing. So we're going to start out on the back. I'm just going to put a little towel down. We're not really supposed to put our feet on the couch, but whatever, right? So we're going to come all the way down, and notice that having the knees bent and the feet flat, head relaxed, you might feel a little bit more support along the low back. If you stretch out the legs, that might feel okay too, but automatically there's a little more of a gap between your low back. But again, this is a squishy couch, so it's kind of filling in that gap anyway. So just take a few moments to just settle in. I'm going to keep my knees bent. And just notice your breath. Notice if you're tensing up through the shoulders or the face. And just take a few breaths here, noticing what you're feeling like today, your emotional state. That can also contribute to tension in the body. Your mental state. And then observing whatever sensations you feel today. Where are you needing more love? So first we're going to go ahead and bring one leg into the chest. So we're going to take the leg that's closest to the edge of the couch and give it a nice squeeze. Good. So the opposite leg can stay bent in on the sofa, or you can stretch out the bottom leg, the opposite leg, and maybe even flex through the foot to start engaging the muscles along that leg. And as you give this a nice hug, notice that you're getting a pretty good stretch across the glutes, low back area. Keep the shoulders relaxed, and you can have the hands across the shin or under the thigh, depending on what feels better for you. From there, go ahead and point and flex, starting to get some ankle movements, maybe opening, wiggling the toes out a little, and then circle the ankle. If you hear pops and clicks, that's pretty normal as long as it doesn't cause pain. Reverse direction. Bring your foot to stillness, and we're going to take and do the same circling motion, but we're going to get into the hip. So the hand of the knee that's bent comes to that knee, the other hand relaxes. We're going to take it out to the side and away, and then in. So finding some circles with that hip joint. You can make it really small at first and then get bigger as your body allows. After a few times in one direction, reverse, go the other direction. So you're using your hand to kind of help you hold on and just get some mobility through that hip. And then coming back to center. Good. Reach the leg up, take the hands behind the thigh, noticing how your hamstring stretch feels. Doesn't have to be a straight leg. Again, notice that this part, this hamstring, is pretty well connected. Close relationship to the glutes and the low back area. So it's another factor to consider. And then bending the knee, open it out to the side. And maybe you're feeling this a little on the inside of the thigh or the groin area. And then bring it back to center. And then opposite hand goes to the knee. And we're only going to take that knee as far as the opposite hip, giving ourselves a nice big stretch right across the outer hip area. Remember to keep breathing, letting the breath be calm and smooth. And come back to center. Good. Let the leg release, shake it out for a moment. Notice if it feels different from one leg to the other. And then I'm going to show you the difference between the stretching and passive range of motion we did versus a more active. So now if you bring that leg back up, give it a squeeze, flex through both feet. So you start to feel maybe the calves get a little bit more engaged and the muscles up the leg. If you're feeling okay with a little more stronger movement, let the arms relax and then take those circles using the muscles through your hips, your thighs, finding a kind of more active movement here. And then reverse and go the other direction. And then as you bring it back to center, reach that leg up, noticing how that feels. Good. It's a little bit more work. Bend the knee, relax it out. I'm going to reach for my scarf now. I forgot to get it before I made my way down. Same leg, we're going to take the middle of that scarf or strap to the ball of the foot. And now reach your leg away from you first. Resist the impulse to come as far as you can because there's going to be a really big bend in that knee. So we're going to try and open out the back of the knee a little bit here. Don't lock the leg, but just keep a soft bend. And notice how that feels now that you have something to press into. Good. Then you can play around with coming up a little higher, a little lower. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Good. And we'll take the straps, both ends of that scarf, into the hand, the same hand of the foot that you have extended. And then when you can, or as you choose, slowly open the leg out, away from the back of the couch. Just noticing how that feels. Keep that breath going. Good. And if you don't have a strap, it's always okay to keep the knee bent and then just use your hand to hold on. Good. We'll bring it back to center. Good. Set the foot down. Let's keep both knees bent here. Good. And then we're going to cross the ankle. So for me, it's my right side, the same leg we've been working on the whole time. Right ankle over the left thigh, forming a figure 4 shape here. Use your hand of the same side, that bent leg, to gently press that away. You might start to feel some openness or just some sensation through the front of the hip, that flexor there. Noticing how this feels. This is our pigeon pose. You could stay here. If this is enough sensation for you, feel free to stay here. If you want a little more, you can bring that left leg up. Thread your hands through to hold the back of the thigh. Good. And just observing what you feel here. Does it feel good? Does it feel too much, too little? You can always adjust here. Take 2 more breaths. And then we're going to release this, bringing left foot down for me, uncrossing, and then stretching out the legs, shaking them out a little bit. And then just pause. Do you notice a difference from the side you worked on versus the side you haven't done yet? Is it happy? Is it grouchy? Just acknowledge whatever you discover. I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I'm just going to tell you what I feel and then guide you through. Good. And before we make our way to the other side, we're just going to bend the knees. So keeping the feet about the same distance apart as your knees and hip bones, so you're lining up there. All we're going to do is take a pillow, and of course I forgot to bring it with me. Bring it between the thighs. Good. And then squeeze the pillow. And then relax it. There'll be an automatic, as you squeeze, there'll be an automatic tilt of the pelvis usually. And if not, don't worry about it. But the pelvis might tilt under and then back. And then a tilt up and down. Take one more, keep breathing here. Pull the belly back toward the spine. So there's a little bit of core work now. Strengthening the front of our thighs, our quadriceps, moving in through the flexors, maybe even using a little bit of our glutes here, all the way up through our abdominal muscles. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and relax that down, move the pillow out of the way, and hug the knees into the chest, rock side to side. All right, time for a little bit of effort here, rolling to one side, coming on up. Good. And then making your way over to the other side. So we'll repeat that same sequence on the opposite side. For me, it's going to be the left, but you just whatever you haven't done. And again, keep your strap and your pillow nearby, if I can find mine. So again, starting with our base position here, knees bent. Good. And then bringing that left knee into the chest, giving it a nice squeeze. The other leg can stay bent with the foot on the sofa, or you can stretch out the leg, stretching it out, pressing the heel out, and then again, finding that ankle movement, pointing and flexing, maybe circling the ankle. And reverse. Let the foot relax, using the same hand of the bent knee to start to guide that knee in circles. This is more about the hips than the knee, so the hand can be anywhere that is supportive here. A few times in one direction and then reverse to go the other direction. And then bringing the knee in toward the center, give it a nice squeeze again. Take both hands behind the thigh, reach that leg up. Again, relax your shoulders, relax your face, but noticing how you feel through this side of the hamstring. Maybe all the way through the back of the knee, up through the calf. Just kind of observe. I'm just giving you suggestions here. When you're ready, go ahead and bend the knee. Use the support of that outside hand to let the knee open up to the side. In some cases, this sofa work is a little harder because your body has to work a little harder to stabilize when the sofa is a little bit squishy. Then come back to center. Use the opposite hand and slowly guide the knee toward the back of the cushion or the sofa. Finding a gentle stretch on the outside of the hip, maybe a little bit of a twist through the waist area. And then come back to center. Good. Giving that side a nice squeeze. So we're going to move again from our stretching and passive movement to a more active movement, letting the hands be by the sides. If this is okay for you, flex both feet. That'll help you stay more active. And then we're going to take those circles, big circles, if you can. Draw, belly draws down to the spine as that knee circles around. 3 times or more in one direction, reverse and go the other direction. Good. Maybe opening it out to the side, holding it, using the effort of all of the muscles simply to hold that leg out in space. And then bringing it up and reaching that leg up. Flexing through the heel, reaching up through the heel. Good. Bend the knee. Rest it whenever you need to. You can always pause the video. You can always skip different parts. All right, and then we're going to take that strap again, ball of the foot. And first thing we want to do is reach the leg away. Rather than up, don't worry how high you go or how straight you are, but try to open the back of the knee so you get some sensation, just not locking that leg, okay? So once you feel a sensation where you're feeling like you're really enjoying that stretch, you can just stay there and keep breathing. Or you can play around with coming up a little higher and away, playing with that sensation. When you're ready, go ahead and take both ends into that outside hand, same leg, same arm, and then slowly opening the leg out to the side. Try to keep both hips down and keep breathing. And then bring it back up. Good. Then releasing that, bending the knee. Or if you wanted to reach out, you can try lowering this way, but usually if you're having back issues, bending the knee first and then stretching out the leg is a better option. Let both legs relax, shake them out a little bit. Notice how that feels. Sometimes it's helpful to just simply bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs side to side. Good. And then hugging both knees into the chest. Rocking side to side, giving yourself a little low back stretch, a little massage here. Maybe reaching both legs up just for a moment. Bring it back down. And we're going to let the feet come back down. Keep the soles of the feet together. Open the knees out into a butterfly wing. You can always slide the feet pretty far away from you to make this happen. Hands can be on the belly. You can just simply rest here. And just observe the sensations. Good. And if this is where you want to pause and be done for the day, just stay here. You might even stretch out the legs or bend the knees and just rest for a few moments. Turning your attention in, noticing how these movements made you feel. Always feel free to acknowledge that if something's not working for you, you can simply leave it out. So this is where you're staying, then go ahead and enjoy yourself. Put the video on pause and just relax. You have a beautiful day. Enjoy the sense of ease in your hips, your back. But if you want to continue on for a little more work, we're going to roll to the side. This is kind of awkward on the sofa, isn't it? And then make our way up to seated. Good. Once you come to a seated position, notice that it's usually helpful to sit closer to the edge of your sofa than it is to sit back, mostly for your posture. Of course, this probably feels really good. But if you will sit forward, you can start to find that longer posture. I'm going to adjust this camera now so you can see what I'm doing as you're sitting up. So we're going to find a little bit more movement here. So now that we've kind of worked through the lower body, we'll just gently start to move through upper body, letting the shoulders roll up and back and down one at a time. And then reversing the direction. You can always stretch out the arms a little more or keep them nice and soft. And then keeping your hands on your thighs, circling around. Good. And then reverse. And then coming back to a center, using your nose to draw the letter O. Sending some love through the neck, the upper body joints. And reverse it that direction. Bringing your head back to neutral, take one arm and reach across your body. Good. And then the other direction. Taking the legs wide if that helps. Good. Reaching. Good. And then coming back to this position, keep your hands on your thighs, lean forward. If that feels comfortable, stay there. If you want to go further, you can go further, depending on what feels good for you. Letting the head relax. And again, maybe you notice a little stretch in the lower back area here. Hips, wherever you notice it. We're going to scoop the belly in, bring the hands back to the thighs and roll back up. Good. So we can take all those same motions that we just did on the couch and do them from the chair instead, or from the edge of your couch. And notice that it's just going to be a different sensation. If you find it's a little easier or better for you to use a chair instead, then you're going to get a firmer chair. Oops, there's my kitchen. You're going to get a firmer chair and have a seat on it. So that you can now have a nice long posture. So sitting up nice and tall. Notice that versus my slouch in the carpet, or in the, not the carpet, the sofa, versus sitting up nice and tall. So play around with that sensation of slouching and then sitting up, and then slouching and then sitting up. Good. All right. From that nice tall spine, hug the right knee in. Actually, I think when I record, it reverses it. So I'm going to say this is right. And we're, again, hugging that in, and then you're pointing and flexing the toes, and then circling the ankle. Good. And then taking that knee in some big circles. And then reverse that direction. Releasing that down, left side. Good. Giving that a hug, maybe moving the ankles, pointing and flexing the toes, circling the ankle. And then letting that knee circle around. Good. And then relax the leg down. We're going to take the feet wide, knees out, and then let the knees come in and out. Good. And then let your knees go side to side, letting your body turn to one side and then the other. Little lunge. Good. And then back to center. So I'm going to reach for my strap again, and realizing that you can't really see my leg from this height, I'm going to adjust this just a little so that you can see. Sorry, I know I'm not a very professional videographer here, but that's just how I do things. All right. So taking that strap or scarf that you might have had. Once again, sit up nice and tall using the strength of your spine, the spinal muscles, the erector, and even your core muscles to make this happen. Bring that right leg up, stretch the leg out. Good. Strap is at the base of your foot, the ball of your foot, or your scarf. Shoulders are back and down. So you can stay there, feeling that leg stretching out a little bit more. Up and down. Good. Take both ends of the strap into the right hand. Left hand can stay relaxed. Open that right leg out to the side. Maybe your left arm extends and you look to the left. Good. And then come back to center. We're going to bend that right knee, cross it over the left thigh. This may have been easier for you on the couch. If this is not really working for you, you can play around with extending the left leg out a little bit to lower. But if that's still not working for you, it's not comfortable, in any way to get your leg up here, then just bring it about halfway up your shin or down by your ankle. So you form a little wing with this left side. This is really good for sciatic issues, tightness, pain, but if it's inflamed, rest it, okay? So inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, maybe you can lean forward. Let's take 2 more breaths here. When you're ready, let's come back up with the torso. Uncross the legs, stretch it out to the side, shake it out. Good. And bringing the legs back. Let's tap out the feet. Give them a little bit of a break. Giving your hips a little bit of a break from all the work we've done. And then we'll go left side, hugging that side in. Good. Pointing and flexing. Good. Circling. So it's the same movement we did while we were on our back, but you're going to just have different muscles working to support this when you're sitting up or even standing from this pose. Good. And then again, guiding that knee in some circles. Reverse. And then come back to center. Good. Stretch out the leg, noticing how that feels. Bending it down. Go ahead and take that scarf or strap again. Bring it to the sole of the left foot. Again, start with a nice long spine. Belly drawn in, shoulders down and back. Then the left knee bends and stretch the leg out. Whew, this side may be different. It is for me. I've got to lower it a little bit. Good. Reaching out through your heel, you can play with up and down. Good. Then reaching that left arm out toward the foot a little bit, holding both ends of the strap. Slowly taking that leg out to the left. You can decide how far to go. Good. And then take the opposite arm, right arm out, thumb up, and look over at that thumb. Good. Looking forward, we're going to release the arm, bring the leg forward, bending the knee. Once again, looking for that figure 4 shape, either here, with the leg stretched out a little bit more, or even halfway up. So you choose which side is working for you here. The strap is going to help you hold on to it. So you're getting a little bit of upper body work here too. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, if you have any space to come forward, lean forward, but don't collapse your pose. Let the shoulders stay drawn in back, belly drawn in. Coming into our seated pigeon pose, you can simply stay here, or you can rock side to side. And then slowly coming back up from here, uncrossing the leg, releasing the strap, shaking it out. Nice job. And once again, we can even come back through that with the legs wide, knees and toes both turned out, going through a little bit of side to side movement here. Good. And as you move to one side, you can even notice if you're feeling something right across the front of the flexor. If it's too intense on the low back, then bend the knee and bring that foot a little closer. From this position, we can simply turn sideways into our lunge, or we can twist a little bit to face the back of the chair. Being careful not to pull yourself into position, but just use the strength of your muscles to make this happen. Good. And then you can also turn to face the other direction. Good. And maybe open out the arms. Good. Releasing, and then swinging over to the other side. Same thing. You can either turn sideways. You can decide whether to stretch this a little more by reaching back, or lessen the intensity by bringing the knee down or forward. Maybe gently adding a gentle twist the other direction, looking toward the back of your chair. Keeping the lower back where it is and turning the body to face the front and taking those arms out. relaxing. And we'll slowly bring the legs back to center. Tap out the feet, noticing how that feels. Good. And then one leg up. It's one last strong stretch movement here. You can stay here, you can let go. Keep the chest lifted, keep the belly drawn in, maybe letting the leg extend. Good, and down. Shake it out. Left leg, either hugging it in or letting go. Maybe trying to straighten the leg. Bend it down. Last option, you can do any of those or none of those, or you can hold on to the back of your chair as you bring both knees in. Make sure you're not slouching. Keep that spine long, chest lifted. Bring the knees up. Stay here, breathe. Maybe you let go. Maybe you don't. Maybe you try to extend the legs. I'm not going to do it. Take one more deep breath. Exhale with a big sigh. Release. And again, a little forward fold. So your hands can stay on your thighs. You can keep your knees close together. And just allow yourself to give yourself a nice back stretch here. Hands might go to shins. If you decide that you just need more space for the front of your body, you can take the feet wider. And then just find a nice, this is a safe version, hands to thighs, especially if you have lower back issues. Hands to shins. Some of you may be able to reach the ground. It's up to you to notice whether it's okay to bring your head below your knees or not, but otherwise try to be safe here. And then slowly bringing the hands back to the thighs, roll back up. Good. And just give yourself a moment to rest. That's my mom. Sitting all the way back in your chair, and just enjoy some stillness. You can certainly make your way back to the sofa if that feels better for you, to rest for just a little bit. So just a few things that you can do for your low back and hips and just your body in general to start to release some of the tension that we feel is what I've decided to share with you today. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, sealing in the goodness of everything that you've achieved today. Or even if you achieved nothing, simply being here is enough. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.